give you an idea of this with the movement of it. And we'll take it out about 22 miles. So this is moving into Union Hill at 2:21. The current time is 2:12, so that's about 11 minutes. Goodlettsville 2:32, Millersville at 2:39. Now the warning goes till 2:45, but if this holds together, it'll be in Hendersonville between about then and 2:50. Now, taking a look at things with our current warning that we have got with the bigger picture. Again, the tornado warned storm, a number of severe thunderstorm warnings that we have going on up in parts of Kentucky, but I want to get in for a closer check again for this tornado warned storm that we have been monitoring. And Bree, you see this kind of on the backside of it, getting a little bit more of a hook on the tail end of this storm. That's about where the rotation was just a bit ago. So I just want to see if this rotation's any tighter right now. And it's still pretty well defined where you've got the green and the reds that have been coming together right now. So we're going to do a storm track from where we do have a little bit of this rotation. And again, the movement of this has been about 20 miles to the northeast. So I'm going to draw this track right in here. We'll take it up at the movement at 20 miles. That puts it about 20 miles out in just over an hour. So Hickory Point at 2:19, Henrietta at 2:30. We will see Oak Plains at 2:36, Thomasville 2:44, again for that tornado warned storm up in Montgomery County. One thing to keep in mind, this is just the beginning. We have tornado watches that are in effect throughout southern Kentucky and basically along and north of Interstate 40 in Middle Tennessee. So right now, one way to keep yourself safe, take out your phone or your mobile device and scan this QR code. This is for the Storm 5 weather call. Unlike an app that is basically geolocated, you can put your number in. A landline if you have one, your cell phone. You can put the address in if you want to keep track of maybe your parents' house or grandparents or your home. You can put that address in, and if you are in the path of a warning, you will get a phone call, day or night, from the Storm 5 weather team alerting you to that dangerous weather. It's $15 a year. You can get it in Spanish as well. It's a great way to stay safe, so scan that QR code right now. Want to go over some tornado safety tips real quick again for Montgomery County. A lot of apartment buildings we know throughout Middle Tennessee that are going up. So what do you do in that tornado warning? First and foremost, make sure that you've got your shoes, closed-toed shoes on. Make sure you have something to protect your head as well. A bicycle helmet, anything like that. A blanket, pillowcases, anything to keep yourself covered. And you want to move inward, especially in these high-rise buildings, office buildings, apartments buildings. Move inward. Stairwells are ideal. And if you can, get down to the lowest floor. It's a good way to meet some neighbors right in here too, but you want to be ideally on the lowest floor. But if it's just not an option, get inward. You don't want to stay near windows. You don't want to stay on top floors. And of course, if you are in your home, as many walls ideally between you and the outside as possible. If you're fortunate enough to have a basement, that's ideal. But a hallway, closets that are under stairs. If you don't have a true interior room of your home, go into a bathroom. Get down, crouch, cover the back of your head, your neck, take a blanket to cover yourself with, and get in the bathtub. That is actually anchored in the ground right there. So as we bring this back to take a look right now, and then we'll send it over to Bree again with some new information there. But I do want to look again with the storm that we have been tracking, our tornado warned storm, a severe thunderstorm warning as well for parts of Davidson County, Cheatham County, Robertson County. But the tornado warned storm goes until 2:30. And Bree, this is certainly something, just kind of zooming in just a little more and moving up a bit, kind of the tail end. It's not textbook, but it is showing characteristics of that rotation tightening a little bit. And again, this warning going until 2:30 is just the beginning of many for the day, Bree.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be a busy afternoon. We knew it would be. This is a look at one of our Skynet cameras. This is in downtown, and we're looking north. So we're looking towards the 65-24 split as you head up towards Robertson County, towards Clarksville, or if you split off to the northeast and you're headed towards that Sumner County, Robertson County border. So really large storm there, heavy rain off in the distance. There is a severe thunderstorm warning that's moving into this area, so there's additional thunderstorms kind of stretching across that area. Want to give you a look at the big picture because this is going to be an active day. The key phrase that Leland kept using this morning was not a one and done, and I think that is such a good way to describe this because you may have storms right now and they will wind down. And then there will be another round that comes, and then another round that comes. We're going to see waves of storms through about 3 o'clock in the morning. And I know that that is not what anybody wants to hear. But the only thing that you need to do with that information in mind is stay weather aware. If you're watching us right now and you are in a safe spot, then you've done everything that you can. If you're in that safe spot, think of the 2 people, 3 people, 4 people that you love most in the whole wide world. If they live in this area, call them and text them and make sure that they are also paying attention to the weather. The lighter red shading that's in effect for our northern half, that is a tornado watch, meaning watch out, a tornado may form. Everywhere that has a yellow box is under a severe thunderstorm warning. The red box here in central portions of Montgomery County is our tornado warned storm. I expect we will see additional tornado warnings through the evening hours. Just looking at the watch, it's in effect until 9 o'clock. I expect the next few hours to primarily impact our northern tier. It's later tonight that storms will sink down into our southern tier, so we may also see some additional watches being issued through the evening hours today. Let's take an updated look at these storms here. So tornado warning in effect until 2:30, the severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 2:45. And any storms that become severe, we will have to watch to see if they can rotate. Unfortunately, the atmosphere is ripe to see rotating storms today. That's why we want folks to be aware and ready to act confidently and quickly if a warning is issued for your area. Both of these storms bringing hail potentially as large as quarters, so 1-inch size hail near the Ashland City area coming into northwestern portions of Davidson County. Likely hail as large as a 1/2 inch, maybe an inch. One of the ways that we can look for rotation in storms is we look to see the wind, what direction it's going, how strong it's going. But this is also something that shows us whether or not there is some churning in the atmosphere, shear. If wind is moving the opposite direction right next to each other, that's called shear. And sure enough, that is starting to pick up in southern portions of Montgomery County. So taking it in just a little bit tighter, this area right here near Highway 76, kind of the larger area, that's where we would likely see our hail core. Stretching down, likely some strong wind wrapping around here. Often you can get wind speed strong enough that can cause damage on the backside of a tornado warned storm. It's that wind speed wrapping around that kind of helps to enhance or reinforce the circulation on that southwestern flank. So at this point, greatest concern for rotation near Boyd Reinhardt Road, Old Hickory or Old Highway 48. Moving towards Golson Road, Neblett Road, just to the north here. Taking it in even tighter, we've got Barkley Hills Road, Chapel Hill Road, 7 Mile Ferry Road, Bumpus Road just off to the west, and the biggest hail signature stretching up towards Ashland Hills, likely seeing very, very heavy rain all along Highway 41. This newest one, the severe thunderstorm warning, this is for northern Davidson County, so this is 65, Sumner County here, Robertson County here. We've got likely some hail, not seeing as big a concern for rotation with this, but we're going to be watching this back flank to see if it can tighten up. At this point, the greatest threat with this storm is indeed wind, and it is indeed hail. There are a couple severe thunderstorm warnings just outside the News Channel 5 area. One does include central portions of Warren County up towards Bowling Green. This spotty activity will continue for the next few hours. But then later tonight, around 5 o'clock, we're going to see a larger complex of storms drop down out of Kentucky, and that's going to bring a more widespread severe weather threat. So it's a complicated, messy, somewhat unusual weather pattern for us. This activity that is kind of spotty in nature that has these warnings. I know this is a weird view because we've got St. Louis up here, but these spotty storms will continue for the next 3 hours. It's this complex south of St. Louis that's going to blossom, and I do mean blossom. This will become area wide, and that's what's going to sink down into our area tonight. So that's why we've got multiple waves that we have to get through. It's these individual cells, primarily north of I-40, that are going to be our biggest concern, at least now through 5 o'clock, and then we'll turn our attention later in the evening towards that complex off to the north. I'll show you some quick computer modeling just to get some timing on this for you. So again, we've got spotty storms that continue. Now watch, the activity starts to blossom and drop down. We've got a large area of storms, 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight, midnight, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I know this is a tough Wednesday weather-wise for us, especially within the context of the year being relatively quiet. But it's not going to be quiet throughout the afternoon and evening hours today. Henry, I see you've pulled up some additional information.
Yeah, so I've got what we would refer to as the correlation coefficient. If we can take max 2 full in this, and I'll analyze it over at the smart screen for you. But this is something that would detect any type of debris in the air. We used it a lot the other day. It could be leaves, it could be twigs, it could be something. Seeing a little bit of the coloring in here, it's not something that is overly impressive, but it's enough that has certainly caught our eye right here for the tornado warning that we are watching in parts of Montgomery County. So it would be around the Hickory Point area right now. Let's go in and take a look at this rotation, and we'll just zoom this in and put a storm track on. First off, this rotation in the last couple scans, it's still holding together pretty well and still tightening up. So it is just south of Clarksville proper right now. And again, putting a track on the tornado warned part of this with that movement northeast about 15 miles per hour, we'll take it out about 50 minutes to an hour or so. So you're looking at 2:35 at Oak Plains. Our current time is 2:23 right now, 2:50 Stroudville, Turnersville at 3:05 if this were to hold together. And looking at that bigger picture right here, the severe thunderstorm warning that we have that is in effect for parts of Davidson, Robertson, and Cheatham counties, that will go, I believe, until 2:45 for that warning. Yeah. And then the tornado warning is until 2:30. Now, it looks like Katie may have some new information for us. She's been joining us as well. Katie, what do you have going on?
Yeah, so keeping a close watch in case you aren't tuning in here, or of course you are, you're watching us here, but you might be watching us on Facebook Live, right? So that's also an option. Can we switch this over to Max 3? Trying to get this loading to show kind of what I want to show. There we go. So this is perfect. So I've been watching Facebook Live. It's a really great way. You can instantly tell us what you're seeing. You have questions, you have comments. So I'm going to show you a bit closer where that rotation is. Henry mentioned this, Hickory Point especially. So this is velocity. It shows us winds going towards and away from radar. It's a really good indication of rotation. A lot of the questions I'm seeing is where is this in regards to Clarksville? Because this is in your county. So if you have a weather radio, it is going off. And after what we saw, of course, a couple months ago in Clarksville, understandably on the edge. So I just wanted to show you a bigger picture, but not too far out. So there's Clarksville for us. The rotation is south of that. So almost along 12, heading towards 24, just about. So if you're in Clarksville, don't let your guard down. You're still within both of these, right? But the rotation itself that we're watching is south of Clarksville. Also, we've had a lot of questions about what if I'm in a mobile home, I'm in a manufactured home, what do I do? Safe Places is a really great program that we've been working on, Heather Mathis especially. What you do is you go to newschannel5.com. On the front page of the website, it says Safe Places. You click that link, it's going to take you to a page like this. You're not going to see these boxes. What you're going to do is you hit this drop down, select your county, pick where you're at, and there's going to be a list of options on where you can go. So that's a really good choice for today, especially because as Bree's been saying and as Leland's been saying, it's not one and done. We've got a day and a night ahead of us. Storm Shield, also a great option as well. You can download that on the App Store. That's a good way to stay in the know. And as Henry mentioned earlier, weather call. You just scan the QR code, and what this does is it will call you. It is subscription based. It's about $15 a year. It's a little over $1 a month. Completely worth it, guys. So again, I wanted to just show you this is moving south of Clarksville. Doesn't mean I want you to put your guard down, Clarksville, but I understand the way that you feel, especially after those last couple of months. So, Bree, what are you seeing right now? Do you have something to pass along?
We're starting to get video into and some phone calls from viewers, and thank you so much for any information that you can share safely. I don't want you to put yourself in harm's way. Absolutely not. Safety is the name of the game today. Flooding is going to become a concern as we head into the evening hours as well. This was video sent in to us from the Gallatin area earlier today. This is near Station Camp Creek. Oh, nearly 6 inches of rain fell in some spots overnight. Not everybody, but you can see. So the ground is saturated. We start adding some severe thunderstorms to this, even the possibility of tornadoes into the evening hours, and that may enhance some power outages into the evening hours with trees really having nothing for the roots to hold on to but mud. Right now, we've got scattered storms that are producing 60-mile-per-hour wind, hail as large as an inch. Tornado warned storm continues in Montgomery County, south of the Clarksville area. The severe thunderstorm that is in Davidson County showing some signs that it may wanting to be rotate. So I want folks to go ahead and treat that severe thunderstorm warning for Davidson County very seriously. That means folks in Sumner and northern Wilson, we're just going to get out of this one's way, right? We're not going to wait and see if it decides to spin. We're going to go ahead and get into that lowest, most interior space. This is a look at the watches and warnings right now. Yellow is severe thunderstorm, red is tornado, but quite frankly, between now and 5, I think most severe thunderstorms that come through are going to want to rotate. So let's just go ahead and treat them like they want to be mischief makers and be in that lowest, most interior space of your home. I know a lot of schools were releasing early this afternoon. Some had closed today, some no aftercare. Keep that in mind if maybe that's put a parent in a position where they're on the road when they wouldn't normally. A lot of schools that have aftercare programs, if the schools decided to not have aftercare, well, then we've just increased the number of parents that are in the pickup line. So that may mean a few more not typical traffic patterns on the road. And since we've got storms right now that are impacting folks, we want to make sure that you're in that interior space. So severe thunderstorm warning is now being extended into Robertson County, including Springfield. That's ahead of the tornado warned storm. The circulation is starting to fall apart across portions of Montgomery County, so they're continuing this with primarily a hail and wind threat as it moves into Robertson County. Seeing that hail signature pretty persistent here, that wind speed also very persistent as well. So let's take a look at two of these storms since they're the strongest ones we've got in Middle Tennessee right now. Turning the lightning signature off, still a pretty pronounced hook on that Montgomery County storm.
Yeah.
And that's where we would find that rotation. And the reason why we use terms like hook is because it looks like a hook, right? We've got this sort of, it almost looks like a balled up fist, right? Kind of wrapping around on the southwest side of the storm. That's where that wind is kind of being wrapped in and ingested into the storm. And then it's out ahead of it. So likely now on the east side of Interstate 24, where we've got some pretty significant hail elevated aloft. This is going to move into northern portions of Robertson County. So north of Pleasant View, you're not in a warning right now, but Springfield up to Barren Plain, you are. Severe thunderstorm warning just to the south. Henry, would you mind scooting my radar over just a little bit to take a look at this one?
Which one?
Just dragging it down so we can take a look at the storm in northern Davidson. There we go. So right here, Millersville now to Goodlettsville. So this is over towards Moss Wright Park. This is where we've got 65 cut north. It's just been under nonstop traffic for construction for like what feels like forever. So we've likely got quite a few vehicles on the roadway here and potentially some hail. It's not rotating. It is not a tornadic storm, but we're kind of watching this back flank to see if it might try to tighten up just a little bit. The track of this would take it to White House, to the southern tip of Hendersonville, potentially even the northern portions of Mount Juliet, Hermitage, over towards really all along Old Hickory Lake. So let's go ahead and make sure that we're treating this one seriously. If that warning is extended, it would be extended through the eastern portion of Sumner County, Trousdale, potentially Macon County, experiencing some impacts from this as well. So remaining with severe thunderstorm warnings, they have let that tornado warning expire. So that's some good news for our Montgomery County storm. But it's still got a healthy little hook to it. So I think it's a storm we really need to keep an eye on. And I would just go ahead and say anybody out ahead of this. We're talking Russellville, Franklin, Portland, Lafayette, Castellian Springs, Scottsville, Macon County. Let's just plan on letting this thing pass before we try to get anything last minute done or tidy something up outside or move a vehicle into an interior space. We want you to be in your safest location now as we're starting to see activity pick up during the afternoon hours.
Yeah, and to kind of elaborate on that, while the tornado warning was allowed to expire, it has been replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning. So please don't let your guard down because this can quickly spin back up and progress back into a tornado warning, especially with the health of the storm. I want to look at two things real quick. Looking at our Skynet site, this is up towards the sky from Donaldson area. And I'll try and position this one a little bit better in a moment to see the basically structure of the storms in northern Davidson County. This is a look at things in Clarksville, and in the distance, certainly looking pretty ominous with some of these clouds. But taking a look right now at our severe thunderstorm warnings that we do have, I want to show you that we've got, again, till 3:15, Cheatham, Robertson, Davidson, Cheatham, Montgomery, and Robertson counties. And then we have also got the northern parts of Davidson County under that severe thunderstorm warning till 2:45. Something encouraging I'm seeing with the actual radar signatures here. It's not quite as ominous looking as it was a moment ago, but taking a look at any rotation with our relative velocity on this, and I'm not really seeing much in the way of any type of spinning with the storm in Davidson County. That's good. And taking a look at that rotation for what was the tornado warned storm for parts of Montgomery County. Still there a little bit, just not as well defined, which is why the warning was allowed to expire. But the fact that it is still there some does raise concern. The other thing to keep in mind, and I want to go over real quick with you, is that we have also got that flood watch until Thursday morning. Bree just showed you video a little bit ago of just a lot of rainfall in the northern parts of the News Channel 5 coverage area earlier that led to flooding. The flood watch until Thursday morning. Please don't think just because water is standing on the road and you've driven down that road 1,000 times, you don't know how deep it is. The road underneath it could be washed out. It only takes about a foot of water to move a vehicle. It takes 6 inches to move an adult. If you're driving and that roadway is not actually there and you're thinking, oh, it's just a little bit of water, maybe an inch or two, it could actually be 5-6 feet deep if that roadway has washed out underneath it. Most of our deaths when it comes to flooding happen in cars. So that is why people think, oh, it's a cheesy jingle or whatever, turn around, don't drown. It's not. It can save your life. So please remember with the flooding conditions that we do have going on through the day. Again, we have that tornado watch throughout areas along and north of I-40 for both Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. A number of severe thunderstorm warnings. And this is just the first round of everything. Everything right now, as a warm front is pushing through, it's lifting to the northeast. Unfortunately, we still are waiting for the finale of this system, which is the cold front. That will push through as we head into tonight. So that is why this is not only a afternoon event, one and done. Again, reiterating what Bree, Leland, Katie have all said, this is something that is going to be with us in several rounds as we go through the next, unfortunately, about 12 to 15 hours before we finally get this all out of here. So a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, as you can see. Very important reminder that this could save your life as well. And take your phone out right now, and once it pops up, our QR code, weather call. It's not trying to be hokey and pitch something. It's trying to give you another tool to save your life. Let's say that maybe you have a loved one that they could be hard of hearing, a weather radio may not work. Have them come stay with you tonight. But if not, you can sign up. It's $15 a year. Put their address in, and it will call your phone and alert you if there's bad weather coming. Make sure your NOAA weather radios are turned on. Make sure you've got your weather apps. This is a scenario, Bree, where we need multiple ways of getting weather alerts through tomorrow morning.
And some patience. Quite frankly, we don't typically get a lot of 15-hour-long storm setups in our area, and it has been an historically quiet spring for us. Not to thumb my nose at this spring, but until Monday, we hadn't even had a tornado warning issued so far this year for Middle Tennessee. So this is a little bit a shock to the system. We're sort of ramping things up at a rapid rate of speed. One of the other concerns we do have for the evening hours today, I showed you that flooding video earlier, is additional flooding primarily, or I should say initially, in our northern tier, because that's where the heaviest rain was this morning. Flood watch in effect through tomorrow morning for a good portion of the area, and the National Weather Service plans to issue a new flash flood warning for portions of Robertson County. So we're concerned about water levels, we're concerned about wind, we're concerned about hail, and unfortunately we are concerned about the potential to see additional tornadoes this evening. This is a look at your current flood watch. This is a look at where the heaviest rain fell last night. I know there are some spots right now that have sunny skies outside that are looking around going, what storms? But even if you have sunny skies, I know you can feel the moisture. You can feel how humid it is. You can feel that sun evaporating the rain that fell through the morning hours. Portions of Robertson County, nearly 5 inches. Portions of Montgomery County, this is radar indicated 4+ inches of rain. That's just last night. You could see an additional 2 to 4 inches of rain by daybreak tomorrow. So a significant rainmaker for us. As far as active warnings in effect right now, that flash flood warning now out for northern portions of Davidson County, Robertson, portions of Sumner County, Cheatham County, that's until 5:45. There are also a myriad of severe thunderstorm warnings. This flash flood warning is in effect until 5:45. So reminder what that means, that flooding can happen in a flash, especially northern portions of Sumner County, Robertson. They're beautiful. They get quite hilly, but that's when you can get runoff to really accelerate into some low-lying areas where those streams, those creeks, those flood-prone spots, talking about Drake's Creek, talking about Station Camp Creek.
Yeah.
They are at capacity and they will rise very, very quickly. So if you or someone you know is going to be heading home today or heading out, it's important to avoid those flood-prone locations. I would just assume that the water level is high and avoid those spots. Severe thunderstorm warnings continue for areas in yellow, so it's a lot to keep track of. I'm going to kind of take these one at a time. Northern Davidson County, this storm, that warning set to expire at 2:45. That storm is weakening. The severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for Montgomery County and Robertson County, that is expected to continue until 3:15. We've got one back towards the land between the lakes also until 3:15, and then a severe thunderstorm warning around 2:45 for Barron and Warren County. These spotty storms will continue for the next couple hours, and then we'll start to see that larger complex of storms that's starting to spread. It's this area right here, just south of the St. Louis area. This is our evening commute, first wave of overnight storms. Also keeping an eye on some storms that are developing in West Tennessee. So we see a couple warnings here in West Kentucky as well. So this is it, folks. We're getting started. We're going to see additional rounds of severe storms through the afternoon and evening hours. Taking a look at some of our sky cams, let's take an updated look. This is looking north. So again, this is that 65-24 split, and we're seeing that heavy rain really start to continue and work into the area. So reminder what your jobs are, know where you are on a map, know where you'll go if a warning is issued, and just a note to kind of encourage you to and practice some confidence. If you've got kiddos, I've got 2 at home, you want to empower them, you know, and I want to empower you too. If you're watching, if you're paying attention, if you're prepared to act, then you've done everything that you can do. And we are going to take care of the rest. We've got a lot of really smart meteorologists in Middle Tennessee, from the National Weather Service to my colleagues, to folks that work in EMA and all sorts of officials, and we're going to make sure that we get through this. Greatest severe thunderstorm threat is indeed along and north of I-40. The general motion of these storms is slightly to the northeast, so they're lifting to the north. The second wave that comes is going to be moving southward. So we continue to kind of keep our head on a swivel, looking left, looking right at what's coming from what direction and what the concern is with it.
Yeah, so we're going to be here throughout the afternoon watching these as well. Again, a couple severe thunderstorm warnings, but no active tornado warnings right now. This is the time, if you have not already, grab, if the kids have that favorite stuffed animal, that blanket, whatever, that's something that can bring comfort to them. Make sure that your mobile devices are being charged right now, because if you were to lose power, and with winds picking up, this is a high likelihood of people losing power. Even without a tornado, the potential is there. We're going to be here monitoring it, though, of course, throughout the afternoon. Myself, Bree, Katie as well. We will keep you updated. For now, though, we're going to send you back to regular program.
This has been a Storm 5 alert.